Hi, my name is Susan Karcheski and I am the owner of Perfectly Unique Design Studio and Boutique in Pierceton, Indiana. I am a published jewelry designer. I am in the book Beaded Jewelry, The Complete Guide. In fact, my earrings are on the cover and I'm wearing those earrings today. And I'm going to teach you wire wrapping and we are going to make a pendant. And this method is tried and true. You can do it over and over and have much success. So let's get started. For this project, you will use 20 gauge wire. I'm showing you gold and silver you can choose from. 22 or 24 gauge wire. Painter's tape or auto detailing tape, 1/4 inch. Wire cutters. A Sharpie. Needle nose pliers. A fine awl or bead reamer. And an alcohol swab. Also, you need a pendant. To start, you will take 3 times the size of the stone in wire. So you will cut off 3 times the size, and that should be rounded. So you'll take the stone, and you'll take your piece of wire, and you'll go around the stone 1, 2, approximately 3 times the size of the stone. So that will depend on the size of stone you use. So this wire looks good. We're going to have 2 of those. I'm going to cut off another piece. So you can use the piece that you just used to measure. When you use your wire cutters, you always make sure that the flat side is up. So if you cut off wire, it will go down toward the table. So we have our 2 pieces of wire and we're going to straighten those out. And we're going to round those in the middle. This is called the cage method because we're going to actually put a cage around the stone. So we're going to line up the 2 pieces of wire around the stone and kind of get a shape, the shape of the stone. If you're using an odd-shaped stone, you will use 3 wires, just like I did, for support. One will just be strictly for support in the middle. If you're going to use an odd-shaped stone, you will use 3 wires. 1 in the middle you won't touch other than just having it go around the stone. So we're going to start by making marks, 3 marks with our marker, or you can use a chalk pen. But I use a Sharpie. You find the bottom and you make a little mark on the 2 wires. You also make a mark on the side in between the top and the bottom in the middle on one side. And while holding the wire, you want to make another mark on the other side. Okay. And we get our wires lined up. We're going to line up this mark here. I can remark that. If you missed the other wire, you want to remark it. Okay, we'll put our marker away. Now we're going to use the 24 or 22 gauge wire. This is a thinner wire, easier to wrap than the 20 gauge. Cut off about 3 inches. Take the 2 wires, and you're going to hold the anchor wire. That's what we call an anchor wire because we're going to make it actually anchors onto the wire. And the 20 gauge wire, you hold both at the same time and you just gently wrap 4 times around the 2 20 gauge wires. You don't have to be real tight because you can move those later with the pliers. So then when you cut down toward the table so that your wire will drop down, and then you're going to tuck in your ends. Tuck in your ends, and if you want to push these closer together, you can do that with your pliers. Just hold each end and bring them together. That way you don't have to wrap so tightly. But you want to make sure your ends are tucked in. You can feel with your fingers it should be smooth. So then we can put it back down on the pendant check, make sure that our marks are still in the right place, or you can remark if you want. My marks are right here, so I'm going to put another anchor wire right there on that side. Cut off about 3 inches of the 24 gauge or 22 gauge wire. Again, put it with my index finger and thumb over the wire, and this should be parallel. You don't want these to cross. So we're going to wrap around again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you should have a little tail. That helps you wrap. Take your pliers. Again, cut off the ends. Tuck in the wires. When you tuck it in, I kind of press straight down on it. Round it to the wire. Again, push these together so you have a nice even coil, or anchor wire is what we call those. And we're going to line up again, make sure it's right. So right over here is my little mark. So I'm going to hold it. See the little black marks? Take off about 3 inches. Make sure that these are parallel, nice and parallel. Wrap 1, 2, 3, 4. Cut off your ends. You don't have to wrap really tight, but you don't want it so loose that it rolls around on the wire. Tuck in your ends. If you have an odd-shaped stone, you would have another wire just in the middle going around for support. So now I'm going to put it back around my stone. That one's poking out a little bit, so I'm going to just press it down. And make sure these are in the center of the stone, center of the bottom. If not, sometimes you can move them slightly with your hand. Okay, so now what we're going to do on the bottom is in between the two middle anchor wires, we're going to take our wire and we're going to do what I call like make a diamond. You put your pliers in the middle, and you can use your hand or another pair of pliers and pull out so you have like a diamond. And then you're going to do that on the other side, in between the middle wire and the bottom wire. Put your pliers in the center, and then you pull out so you have a diamond. So you have 2 diamonds. Okay? And then we're going to put the stone in. And we're going to take the rest of the wire, and we're always wrapping around the stone to continually get that shape. Okay, make sure your anchor wires are in the center. And then you just gently take your pliers and fold it over on the front and the back. Fold this over and press down on the front and the back. So your bottom is basically in. This is where the tape comes in. You're going to take your auto detailing tape right here and cut off Actually, I start it while I'm still holding the stone. And you're going to put this tape below the anchor wires at the bottom to hold this in, because we're going to work at the top now. We don't want to have it loose. We don't want to have it come out. So we're going to cut off enough to go around the stone maybe 2 or 3 times. And we're going to tape the bottom. So now what we want to do at the top, before I open up these sides, I want to make my bail so that we have this nice and tight. To do that, I'm going to hold the stone each side, and we're going to make a twist and a half at the top. You don't want to cut the stone off either when you twist like this. You want to make sure that the wire is at the top. So you want to hold it so that you can make a twist and a half. And so now you can see the wires are on the sides, and that's where they should be. The anchor wire's in the middle, and you've got this taped at the bottom. We're going to open this up to make our bail. You're going to have 4 wires, and I use my thumb to our index finger, to kind of start my bail. And I call these butterfly wings here. You can take your pliers too and press this together just so you don't have a very thick bail. You just want to press that together. And what I do is you have 2 wires at the top. I take this one closest to the bottom and go 1, 2 times around to get down toward the stone. And this one follows at the top. 1, wrap it around twice. So you'll end up with 2 wires at the top now. Now we want to get this part of the stone, the top part, in. So this is where your fine awl or bead reamer comes in, and you will actually open up this wire just enough, and you don't want to scratch the stone. You just want to open this wire enough so that you can bring your pliers over the top and over the bottom, just like we did on the bottom. You take it in the center of the wire, open up the wire, take your pliers, and you're going to go right in the middle over the top and the bottom. This is what you call a cage. Your stone is now in a cage. And you can also straighten out your stone so that your design, or if you have a pattern, is straight up with your bail. So we can also fix this bail by opening it up. I like mine a little open. You can take your pliers and round it if you want to make it a little more round. So you have a nice bail at the top. Now it's in. You can take off the tape. Move these wires out of the way. Find your end of the tape and take that off. And you have, if you want to tighten things up again, you're just going to line them up so that they're in the middle. So that's what it looks like now. And the rest of it is just design work here. You can make a coil at the top I usually cut these off to about 1.5 inches. So to make a coil, you'll make a half turn onto the wire with your pliers, and then just follow the wire, holding your pliers horizontal to the line. You just do half turns, small half turns all the way up the wire. That's how you make a really nice coil. Then you can put the coil where you'd like. So if I want it in the center, I can turn my pliers like this. I call this a jag. I actually told it I want that right in the center, so I made a little bend there. So this wire you can either cut off and tuck in, or you can make maybe another coil down over here. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do a half turn, and then we're going to change our pliers to horizontal and make small half turns all the way up the wire. And this is my own term I invented. I call it a jag, but you take the pliers and you make a right angle, and it kind of lays the coil exactly where you want it. That's a jag. So now the pendant is taking form. If that's all you want done on it, you can leave it there, or you can take these wires and design other places on the stone. Say a coil down here. Again, you do your half turn. Always turn the pliers horizontal to finish out your coil. And if you want to do another jag, you'll grab the wire and you'll do that half turn to have the wire lay down, lay where you want it. And then we can go in the back and finish that with a little jag to make it lay down. And so if you're happy with that, you can just take this last wire, simply wrap it around neatly and tuck it in. Straighten out your bail again, and there is your finished wire wrap pendant. What you've just seen is the cage method of wire wrapping. And if you practice and get successful at this, you can go to a quicker method that I invented called the quick wrap. And I will be doing a video tutorial on that. And it will show you how to cut the time in half. So thank you for watching my video. And my name is Susan Karczewski from Perfectly Unique Design Studio and Boutique. Thank you.